So two gorgeous guys there, but Sherrie, you spent the weekend with a gorgeous girl.
Oh, yes. I have to say congratulations to Keely and Simon, because we've had a little baby girl, Molly. There she is. Oh! And I have to tell you, I know. Oh, it's making me fill up. She was 6 pounds 2 ounces, and she's the tiniest creature I have ever seen, the most perfect creature in the world. And I have to say thank you to Wigan Maternity, which is the most wonderful hospital I've ever been into in my life. They treated us so well, but I have to just say, because of health and safety, they're not allowed a toaster. So if anybody has got a toaster, they would like one, but apparently they can't have a toaster. So
or just if you're passing, just bring some toast in.
Yeah, bring some toast. They have to have a toast lady. But I have to say that Ollie has been fantastic with Molly.
Has he?
Because he is 4 and he's been the star of the show. And he just strokes her and kisses and goes, "That's my friend, my baby sister." And it's just wonderful. And, of course, Lucy, his other sister, is besides... We're all beside ourselves, like, as you can well imagine. I know!
Congratulations! OK, on with the show. And after presenting the Golden Globes 2 nights ago, it seems Hollywood is still reeling from some of the comments Ricky Gervais made whilst presenting the awards ceremony. Some critics are saying he hit the wrong mark with jokes like, "It's going to be a night of partying and heavy drinking," or as Charlie Sheen calls it, breakfast. Now, we're all used to Ricky's sense of humour, and he's well loved over in the UK, but did he overstep the mark in Hollywood? It sounds like one of your nights out, never mind Charlie Sheen.
That could have been applied to me, that, couldn't it, really? I think that was very funny. I love Ricky Gervais. You know, he can't do any wrong for me. And to me, he did do that the year before.
Yeah.
So Hollywood and the award panel knew what they were letting... You know, I'm quite surprised that they have gone for someone as sort of contentious as Ricky Gervais. Because Americans, a lot of Americans do have a different sense of humour to us. But I think that if somebody's horrible about me, which is quite often, if they do it with a sense of humour, even if it's quite malicious... I remember once, years ago, when I was doing a series called Soldier, Soldier, and my character suddenly, from just making tuna sandwiches in the kitchen in every episode, suddenly became a club singer. And club sandwich singer. And Colette, played by Angie Clark, great actress, had to hear Marsha singing in a club once and go, "Oh, my God, Marsha, that was brilliant." And Jackie Stephen wrote, "Colette, who was clearly on her way to the ear, nose and throat hospital." You see, I think that's quite funny. It's when some TV reviewers or whatever are just very nasty about people's physicality, which they can't help, and it's just done without any sense of humour. It's cruel, because those people have feelings and they can't do anything about the way that they look, and it's just very, very cruel.
With comics, it is their job. I mean, he had a job to do, didn't he, that night? And it was to be... I mean, they know what he's like. He is irreverent, and that's part of his humour. I do think it's funny, as long as he's creative and clever with it. I thought he was a bit strong with Robert Downey Jr., though, when he said, what was it? Robert Downey Jr., you may have seen him in...
the Betty Ford
Clinic and LA County Jail, which was a... You know, and I suppose if you've got, like... with Denise, then I suppose if you're trying to beat those sort of demons, then that's quite tricky. But it's when journalists attack someone just for the sake of it without any wit, I can't stand it. But equally, he shouldn't have gone on there and done 4 hours of telling everyone how marvellous they are either, because that would have been wrong too.
Well, exactly. But I mean, that is what makes him so refreshing, and I think we're more used to it over here. I mean, you go to any awards do, really, as a loose woman, and you just sit and wait for it. You know you're going to have the, you know, the mickey taken out of you. But at the same time, as you say, if it's all right if it's about your programme or if you're an actress, your personality or what have you. But when it's something deeply personal, I've been to an awards do before and was introduced in a really not very nice way just as my marriage had ended and the papers had printed some really horrible things about me. And you're standing there and you're sort of backstage, and then everyone's clapping and you come on, and what can you do?
It's also attacking people who don't have a voice. I mean, if you've got somebody who's, say, hosting an awards ceremony and they're going to bring somebody on who can clearly fight back. But I remember watching some award show years ago, and it was a presenter who I really like and admire very much. But on this occasion, he brought some people on to introduce an award. I think it was Steps, the band Steps. And it was clearly that they'd been brought on purely to be it was
Just
it
ridiculed.
was so awful,
Yeah.
and they're not
But
comedians,
some
and
people
they didn't have a
some
voice.
people do get picked on, don't they? For some absolutely no reason. And Jeremy Beadle used to get picked on. For,
Yeah.
the most wonderful, the loveliest
Talented man.
in the world. But he got to a point where people picked on him. But the Americans don't get irony, and I think that's what Ricky Gervais is about. And they don't understand it. They're also very, very sensitive. You know, what did they mean? What did they mean? And they pick up on every single moment. But I mean...
If you go
We'd
to
never,
those
we'd
awards,
never go
though,
out,
if
would
you...
we, if we took a
Well,
million
that's the
dollars?
problem. I mean, look at us when we did Girls Aloud. We were called everything.
But
I mean,
it's
Nana's
for-
Aloud was about the best we got.
But that was for a good cause, and if you're going to turn up to an awards show as a performer, then you kind of it comes with the territory, doesn't it? Really.
Oh, and like I say, we're quite used to in the papers being called all sorts of things.
In fact, saying that, I've got a little thing here for Denise. Ali Ross wrote, "Hell's Corsets, Mae West lives. A uniform last
This is
worn
about my costume on Sunday.
by Agnes Baden-Powell at the Girl Guide's 1928 Jamboree, and a hairdo we haven't seen since the opening ceremony of the Berlin Olympics in 1936. It's Denise and she's either dancing on ice or angling for the next regional tour of Hello Hello."
And that's funny. And that was in today's paper.
It was in today's
But
paper.
they did go on to say, though, that you were the highlight of...
Well, thank you, in Ali's eyes. But you see, generally, he makes me wet myself laughing, Ali Ross. Do you know what I mean? So I'm quite flattered to be talked about by him.
What are you wearing next week?
Oh, you'll have to wait and see. But also, somebody who works in this building said that they were watching it and their partner went, "Is June Whitfield on dancing?"
Well, they did say that you and Matt look like mother and son.
Now, that's only a little of what we've got to say. God help us. But if you've got anything to add, don't be a silent witness. Get loud.